I hope you all are brimming with energy after you've heard the 26th July speech of the then Chief of Army Staff, General Ved Prakash Malik, on the Kargil Vijay Divas. He did motivate and inspire many of us. Somebody's speaker is on, please. I can hear some disturbance. Okay. Yeah, now it's okay. All right. Okay, so we heard the story of the Kargil war from the man who was instrumental in making our country victorious in the Kargil war. We all heard the strategy behind the Kargil war. And you all heard how the young officers, they led from the front and they led India to victory. Victory, please remember, is not only attained by the Indian Army, but then when one wins wars, it is the country that wins the war. And it is that planning of the defense forces or of the army officer, the coordination, the support of the arms, the determination, the will, and all the machinery together. When it works, the country wins wars. You all might be knowing that some years back, there was a huge controversy when it was said by the government that before the movie begins in a theater, the national anthem will be played and everybody should stand during the national anthem. So there were many intelligent people who stood up and said, why should we stand up for national anthem when we go for entertainment? And why should the government pass this law? We are going to see a movie which is for entertainment. So why should we bring compulsion here in the entertainment? It is our sweet will, whether we should stand up or whether we should keep sitting. But that does not mean that we don't have patriotism in our hearts. We are very patriotic, but we don't have to prove it by standing up for the national anthem. This was a bizarre statement made by many so-called intellectual people when the government said that no, you should stand up for the national anthem. In a theater, when you go to see movies. In fact, I go a step ahead of this and I say, before you begin any function in this country, before you begin any program in this country, there should be national anthem and homage should be paid to the soldiers of the country, those who are guarding the borders at this moment, very now, when we are talking to each other. Because we should remember that we owe our freedom to those soldiers who are guarding our borders and nobody else. And when there was this huge controversy, it was shocking to hear that the youth was involved more into making such statements. So I ask the youth today, if you cannot stand up for the national anthem, which is played only for some seconds, then even we soldiers would say, why should we stand at the borders guarding the country with a rifle in our hand day and night? But that is not the case. We take oath of the tricolor. We take oath that if need be, we will not think twice before we lay down our lives for the country. If that is our patriotism, we expect at least something from the countrymen to stand up for the national anthem? When this controversy was going on, I suddenly remembered a story which I had read, and I had seen a movie long time back when I was a kid, when I was in my school days. And that movie was something that told so much about patriotism of a common citizen about his own country. In fact, that movie, I think, should be seen by each and every person so that you understand the real meaning of patriotism, so that you get the real importance of what is it to work for the citizens, to secure the country from the perpetrators, from the terrorists, or from the enemy. What does it take for a citizen to feel so highly about a soldier? And what is that force which drives a soldier into going out of his way to ensure that the name of his country always keeps flying high in the air, and he always strives for the pride of the nation? The pride of the nation is of vital importance. Yes, I'm talking about the movie which I had seen when I was in class 8th, and the name of the movie is Raid on Entebbe. It is based on a true story, and it is based on Operation Thunderbolt, which was carried out by the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, in a city called Entebbe in Uganda. When I compared it to what had happened in our country when our aircraft IC-814 was hijacked, well, I was very young then, but yes, a question did arise in my mind. We too could have sent a commando mission to Kandahar to release the passengers. Why didn't we do so? There might be certain reasons. The government might be having justifiable reasons. But as a youth then, and as a person who was brimming with energy and motivation, I was in the uniform then, I did think we could have sent a commando mission. We could have had a commando raid to free all the passengers who were hijacked and sent to Kandahar in Afghanistan. And in turn, the terrorists had demanded for the release of 4 dreaded terrorists who were in the Indian jail. One of them was Masood Azhar. Yes, he's the same terrorist, a blacklisted terrorist who started the terrorist organization Jaish-e-Mohammed, who was responsible for the Pulwama attack, in which we lost 40 of our brave soldiers. This man, had we not released in 1999, when this aircraft was hijacked, IC-814, probably he wouldn't have masterminded all these dreaded attacks. He was instrumental for the Mumbai 26/11 attack as well. But then government then might be having their own reasons for releasing these 4 dreaded terrorists. But strongly, very strongly, I do feel that we should have sent a commando raid. We should have sent the Indian commandos to free the hostages who were there in this aircraft. I guess there were about 176 of them, 184 or 76. I don't remember the number. But we could have done so. And why did I think? Because I remember this movie and this real incident which had happened in 1976. We had this example in front of us of the raid on Entebbe. And here somehow I felt that, somewhere there was this patriotism word which is rather more seen, which is more evident in this raid on Entebbe, Operation Thunderbolt story. Had the same sense of patriotism prevailed during the hijack of IC-814? Had the entire country given a clarion call to the government that please don't release these 4 dreaded terrorists, please send a commando mission, the picture would have been something else today. I'll tell you in brief about this Operation Thunderbolt, and then I'll tell you how to work on your passion to serve the country. There was this French airliner which took off from Tel Aviv, and it was heading towards France. And this aircraft had about, I think, 102 or 106 Israeli passengers. And 4 terrorists of the Palestinian organization, the militia organization of the Palestinians, they also got into this aircraft and they kidnapped this aircraft, which was supposed to head to Paris. After it landed in Athens, this aircraft was routed to Uganda in Africa. And the then president of Uganda was Idi Amin. There was a story then about Idi Amin, and it was said that he was a man-eater, but those are all stories. Nobody knows the truth. But yes, he was a brutal dictator. And Idi Amin was also involved in this entire conspiracy of hijacking. And that is why probably he gave a green signal to land this aircraft in Entebbe. This aircraft was forcefully landed. The passengers were troubled in the aircraft. The Israeli passengers were troubled more. And these terrorists demanded release of their Palestinian friends who were in the jail of Israel and some more countries. The moment Israel came to know that this aircraft has been hijacked, the entire government machinery got together to think on what action should be taken. But they were 100% sure that we are not going to release the terrorists who are in our jail, because we've caught them with a lot of efforts. And the efforts of the soldiers of the IDF should not go in vain. We need to take some proactive steps to release our passengers safely and bring them back to our country. This was the entire national feeling in Israel then. The entire government, the prime minister, the president, they all sat together. The opposition party leader, everybody sat together, and there were huge discussions on what to be done, what has to be done. Finally, it was decided that yes, the IDF will send a commando mission right up to Entebbe, rescue all the passengers there, all the Israeli passengers, and ensure that they are brought back safe to our country. The year was 1976. And it was this very month in July. The date was 4th July. The entire operation was planned in 90 minutes. Because when you go to a foreign nation, when you land there and conduct a commando raid, naturally, that country will also immediately be ready. The army of that country will be ready to retaliate. And it is definitely going to retaliate. It is not going to keep silent. So to finish the entire operation in no time and to head back to Israel. Now just imagine, where is Israel and where is Africa and where is Entebbe? The distance is about 4,000 kilometers. To go 4,000 kilometers across into a different continent and in a country whose head is Idi Amin, a dictator who's very brutal, who's very cruel, to go into their country and to go in a place where all these passengers are kept at the airport of Entebbe, which is guarded by the Ugandan army, to penetrate into the security circle and go inside. It's so very difficult. How would have Israel planned all this? Israel played a very smart game. Israel requested America to send satellite pictures of the place where these Israeli passengers were kept at the Entebbe airport. America immediately sent satellite pictures, and in those satellite pictures, it was seen that inside the Entebbe airport, there was a huge hall, which led to another hall where passengers were separated by force. Say if they were relatives, say if they were husband, wife, the wife was kept in the front hall and the husband was kept in the other hall. And there was no door which was opening to the other hall. The wall was broken due to force. And people were made to go through that into the other hall. By force, people were separated. And this entire satellite picture Israel got. Here, about 100 commandos were chosen for this entire operation. And the commando was led, and the commando operation was led by Major Jonathan Netanyahu, who's the elder brother of Benjamin Netanyahu, who was the Prime Minister of Israel for a very long time. He was called Yani. His nickname in the army, in the Israeli army, was Yani. He was called Major Yani. Major Yani was given the entire responsibility of planning this entire operation. He had to finish the entire operation in 90 minutes. You won't believe, Praharis, you won't believe that Israel in no time literally made a model of this entire Entebbe airport, where this huge hall is there and where there is this big hole in this wall leading to another hall where other passengers are there. How would the army barge into this? How would the army kill the soldiers who were guarding this hall? And what all actions the Israeli army would do, or what all actions the commandos will take. Rehearsals were carried out. And in the rehearsals, Major Yani made sure that this operation ended at 90 minutes. And after having the final rehearsal, where exactly at 90 minutes, it was ensured that all the passengers are inside the Hercules C-130 aircraft, and the plane has taken off for Israel. That was the time when Major Yani went up to Colonel Sharman and said that we are ready, sir, for the entire mission. There were 2 Hercules aircraft sent, and these 100 Israeli commandos into it. It took off from Tel Aviv for Uganda. The operation was planned so very well. Each and every minute detail was planned so very well that they decided that how would they fool the guards who were there guarding the Entebbe airport. So they took a vehicle. Idi Amin used to always come in a big, huge black vehicle, a long car he used to come. And Idi Amin used to be very funnily dressed up, very funnily dressed up. He used to wear very funny clothes, red pant and a green t-shirt, a parrot green t-shirt, and a funny cap. And he used to always be very funnily dressed. So what these people did was, these Israeli commandos, they made a replica of this huge car, and they dressed up one Israeli like Idi Amin, gave him fancy clothes to wear, and he was sitting inside, and there was this driver of the car, and they decided that the moment this aircraft would land at the Entebbe airport, the first thing that would come out of the aircraft was this car. Now here also there was a dramatic plan. Had this aircraft landed on the Entebbe airport with full lights and with full sound and everything, naturally the Ugandan army would have been suddenly awakened and they would have fired immediately. So what these people did was, they switched off the aircraft lights. The aircraft lights were off. The engine was off. That is what is shown in the movie. And this aircraft, it landed at the airport. Yes, there might have been some kind of sound, but then this aircraft, the moment it landed, the first thing that came out of this aircraft is that vehicle. That vehicle came out, it moved slowly to the door, and the guards who were guarding of the Ugandan army, who were guarding this hall, they thought that probably, the sound that we heard was not of an aircraft, it was of this vehicle which was coming, because Idi Amin always comes with a huge pomp and show and, a band and things like that and a jing bang. So it might be Idi Amin. And they saw Idi Amin's car standing in front of them. So they opened the door. This Israeli man who was dressed up like Idi Amin came out. And behind this vehicle, there were these Israeli commandos with their weapons, bending down and running behind this vehicle, hiding and running behind this vehicle so that they are not seen by anybody. The moment these guards saluted Idi Amin and got aside so as to let Idi Amin enter into the hall, immediately these Israeli soldiers came out of their hiding. They silenced the sentries and barged inside the hall. The moment they barged inside the hall, Major Yani led the entire operation. And Major Yani, the moment he entered the hall, he said, suddenly, all the passengers who were sleeping, it was in the night. And imagine a night time landing without lights, something terrific and tremendous. The passengers were sleeping without fans because Idi Amin was supposed to be cruel, so he did not allow people to switch on the fans. And imagine, it is Africa, it is so hot. In that hot, sultry weather, passengers are sleeping, trying to sleep somehow. And the moment all these people barged inside, there was this huge commotion and passengers got up and they were scared. They thought that probably Idi Amin has come with the soldiers to kill them. Because an ultimatum was given to Israel that if you don't free our people, then after so and so date, after every hour, we will kill one of your passengers. The moment they marched in, Major Yani stood up strong and tall and said, ladies and gentlemen, please calm down. This is Israeli army, and we have come here to take you all back to your country. Everybody was very happy. They started cheering. They started shouting. Major Yani told them to be silent and said, pick up your luggage and your belongings and rush to the aircraft that is standing outside before the Ugandan army comes. Passengers started running helter-skelter. Here the terrorists were there. Immediately when Major Yani was talking, immediately the rest of the commandos, they took their positions, went up in the tower, killed the terrorists, and there were 4 terrorists. In that airport, Entebbe airport, on the tower, there were about 5 of them, including Ugandan army soldiers, and on the ground floor in the hall, there were about 4 of them. There was firing. The commandos, the Israeli commandos, killed all the 4 terrorists who were on the ground floor. Major Yani and some handful of the commandos, they went up to the tower, killed about 4 of them. 1 terrorist was hiding. He got scared somehow and he was hiding. Major Yani thought that probably all the terrorists were killed. He immediately started taking all the passengers and putting them and telling them, helping them to take their luggage and run into the aircraft. Each and every passenger had tears in their eyes. They couldn't imagine that my countrymen, my army, my Israeli army has come all the way 4,000 kilometers from Israel to rescue me. This was the feeling that they had, and just imagine the patriotic feeling and the patriotic fervor that might have flowed into each and every citizen's minds and hearts and blood during that time. Everybody was in tears. Tears were flowing through their eyes, and they were picking up the luggage and running towards the aircraft. Another thing happened in Israel here. In Israel, the moment these 2 Hercules aircraft had taken off for this commando operation, that is the time when Israel declared to the world that Israel is carrying out a commando operation in Uganda. Till then, everybody was silent. The entire operation was being heard by the Israeli government in the night. Nobody could sleep. Not a single Israeli citizen slept. Everybody was awake. The entire Israel was awake, as if there is some kind of festival. Lights in each of the homes were there because everybody was eager to know what is happening to our countrymen, what is happening to our country soldiers. They were waiting with bated breaths as to what would be the next news. The moment the passengers started getting into the Hercules aircraft, the rest of the Israeli commandos, they started helping them into the aircraft. There were claps here in Israel from all those who were witnessing this entire episode, who were listening to the commentary of this entire episode that was given to them. Major Yani ensured that all the passengers are into the aircraft. He was the last one to leave the entire Entebbe airport and tower. The Israeli commandos were told that before you start from there, count each and every commando. Every commando was being counted. 99 was the last count. 1 commando was missing, and he was Major Yani, the commander of this operation. He ensured that every Israeli soldier and every Israeli passenger is out of that tower and into the aircraft, and he was coming last. He was running and coming to the aircraft because 90 minutes were about to get over, and in 90 minutes they had calculated that the Ugandan army will take 90 minutes to get into action at the Israeli airport, the Entebbe airport. When he was running here, that 1 terrorist who was there in the tower, he got up, picked up his gun, aimed at Major Yani, and fired his gun. Major Yani was hit. He fell down. But when he fell down, he pointed his gun to that 1 terrorist in that tower and fired, and that terrorist was killed. Somehow Major Yani got up, struggled to run into the aircraft, The aircraft had just rolled. He gave his hand to one of the Israeli commandos who pulled him into the aircraft. Haris, please watch this movie, Raid on Entebbe. This scene is, it's so terrific, it'll bring goosebumps to you. What kind of patriotism here? What kind of passion to save your countrymen? Yani was brought into the aircraft. All passengers started clapping. But then, when they saw that he's been hit, immediately first aid was given to him. All the passengers were praying. They were praying to their God that please, please, please keep Major Yani alive. Please ensure that he's alive. Every Israeli passenger started singing a song. I remember that song. They started singing this Israeli song. I believe it is their national anthem because I haven't heard their national anthem. But this song somehow gave strength to Major Yani to at least talk to the commandos. He looked at all of his fellow soldiers and all the passengers and all the fellow countrymen and said, we've done it, we've done it. We finally rescued our countrymen. Here, the moment the aircraft took off from Entebbe, there were cheers of happiness and cheers of, shouting slogans in praise of the IDF. And the Israeli government was also in full josh and happiness. The Operation Thunderbolt was successful. The moment the aircraft landed in Tel Aviv, the first thing that came out of the aircraft was the dead body of Major Yani. He was the only commando who was martyred for his country in the entire mission. Out of the 100 commandos, 99 were alive. And the commander of the mission had given up his life for his country. There's a saying in Marathi, God ala pan simha gela. Exactly the same way. The mission was successful, but in the process, the commander of the mission gave up his life. And the last scene of the movie is something very terrific, tremendous. Here in this movie, in the last scene of the movie, the entire, Israel, Tel Aviv airport is full of Israeli people. They've come to witness, they've come to welcome the heroes of the IDF who went all the way 4,000 kilometers into Uganda to rescue their countrymen. This is the kind of patriotism that is required in all of us. And here we keep questioning every step, everything that the country does for the good and the betterment of the country. We start questioning even what the army does in our country. Is that justifiable? Is that correct? You start questioning, why was the surgical strike done? And if it was done, where is the proof of it? You start questioning the chief of the army staff. You start questioning the army when it takes action in terrorist infected areas. Why is it so? Why is it so? We need to build up this kind of patriotism in all of us. We need to bring in this passion for the country, this passion and this kind of feeling for the country. You all are aspirants. You all want to wear the uniform and very proudly say that we are soldiers of the Indian Armed Forces. But look into yourself, introspect, and ask yourself, do you have that passion in you? Do you have that extra energy in you? If you do have, then why don't you show it out? Why don't you bring it out in small steps? Haris, small steps taken by you is going to prove that you have that passion in you to wear the uniform. By only speaking the word passion, Passion, you are not going to prove that you have that kind of energy and that kind of will to wear the uniform. Sorry. You will have to take a step to show. You will have to show that there is improvement in you. You will have to show that, yes, you have the dedication in you, that will to do. And that will and that dedication will come by every step of yours every day. Every day. And I mean it so. Start your day from going for a run in the morning. How many of you do it? How many of you really think that you need to make your body fit because you want to join the forces? Please remember that when you join the defense forces, you need to have fitness of your body and fitness of your mind, your psyche, a robust mindset. Physical fitness accompanied by mental robustness. And when will your mental robustness come? When you stretch your limits. When you challenge yourself into doing something very different. That is the time when you will achieve this. You need to do this. You need to bring out challenges in you. You need to go for a morning run. You need to go and ensure that you run for at least 5 km every day. Start with small, by setting small goals for yourself. Set small goals. If you can't run for 5 km on the first day, set small goals for yourself. Make it 3 km, make it 2 km, and keep increasing, stretching your limits. When you end up into having a fit body, continue to maintain it so. That is the first step. That is a small goal that you achieve. After you achieve it, go into the next goal of reading in detail about at least one topic on current affairs and writing on it. Close your eyes, write on it. It will increase your knowledge. When you have got into the habit of reading about every current affairs, about one current affairs in a day, then move on. Practice about what is being taught to you. Learn, practice, read, write, and ensure that you become expert in that. Decide each topic for one day, each subject for a day. Plan your day accordingly. Make a timetable for yourself. Unless and until you become systematic in making a timetable for yourself, you are not going to achieve what you wish to achieve. You have 2 years with you. Don't waste these 2 precious years. You are just in your 11th. Don't waste these 2 precious years with you. Make a timetable for yourself every day. Don't just live your day as it comes. You get up early in the morning not early in the morning, you get up at 10 o'clock, you have your lunch at say 12 o'clock, just after 2 hours, and you while away your way, you watch certain movies, you chat with your friends, and then when the class begins, join the class. Now, that is not going to make you achieve your aim of wearing the uniform. Gentlemen, you need to pull up your socks. And you need to do it very, very strongly. Make a timetable for yourself. Follow that timetable strictly. You just have to do this hard work for 2 years. It's just a matter of 2 years. After 2 years, when you get into the National Defence Academy, Khadakwasla, there is going to be nobody more proud than, of course, all of us, your parents, and you. And you. Make a promise to yourself that if you have not followed your timetable today, you will follow it tomorrow. Make a promise that you will ensure that you become disciplined. You will ensure that you start leading your life in a systematic manner according to the planner that you have made. And go as per your timetable. Try to your level best to follow your timetable. Tell your parents not to disturb you because you're studying. Your parents will also feel proud that their child has become finally responsible. You've grown up now. You're no longer in school. No longer your teachers are going to ensure that you finish your homework and they're going to ask you to show your copies and they're going to give you marks and they're going to put a sign and do tick marks. Sorry. You have to study on your own. The only thing that is going to be provided with, you people are going to be provided with, is the notes and the PDF. You have to study on your own. You have to ensure that you do your self-studies. You should take out doubts. If you've not understood anything, ask the next day in your class. But self-studies is a must. Ensure that at the end of the day, before you sleep every night, you sit with your closed eyes and introspect. What all have I done today? Have I achieved what I have written? What I had planned in the morning? Have I achieved that? No. If I have not achieved that, I have wasted one day. Tell yourself you have wasted one day. And promise to yourself that from tomorrow I'm not going to waste one day, because time flies. वक्त किसी के लिए रुकता नहीं है. वक्त आगे बढ़ता जाता है. आप कल का दिन वापस नहीं ला सकते. अभी गया हुआ वक्त वापस नहीं ला सकते. और वक्त कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जिसको आप पकड़ के रखो. आपके हाथों से फिसलता रहता है वक्त. तो वक्त को की अहमियत को समझो. हर सांस का पहरेदार है वक्त. हर जीवन की रफ्तार है वक्त. वक्त का पहिया ऐसे चलता, जुगनू जैसे जलता बुझता. उस जुगनू को पकड़ जो पाए, वक्त उसी के संग हो जाए. वक्त की अहमियत को समझो. एंड if you have wasted one day, this means you have wasted 24 hours. Just calculate how many minutes you've wasted and how many seconds of your life you have wasted. Had you put those many seconds of your life into studies to achieve your ultimate goal of joining the National Defence Academy, the scene could have been something else. Don't waste a minute, children. You all are young gentlemen. You're responsible. You will be responsible for your own actions. Your parents will not be responsible. We will not be responsible because we are giving you everything. You will be responsible if you don't study. You will be responsible if you don't make yourself disciplined. You will be responsible for your actions. Hence, make your actions. Plan your life accordingly. Plan your daily routine and work accordingly. Ask doubts to your teachers. Ask them, trouble them. They are there to solve your doubts. Trouble them as you wish to. They will solve your doubts. But please study. When you expect something from the other person, please understand that you are also expected to follow the same thing. Don't ever let down your parents. Don't let down that spirit in you which wishes to don that uniform. I tell you, there is a different sense of pride, a sense of, there is a tinkling feeling the moment you wear that uniform and the moment you tighten your belt. You become a totally different person, a totally different person. And when you wear that uniform, just imagine yourself in the OG uniform for all those who wish to join the Indian Army. Imagine yourself in the Air Force uniform and those wings on your chest if you wish to become a fighter pilot. And for the ones who wish to don the white uniform of the Navy, just imagine those sparkling stripes on your shoulders. Oh my God. Such a wonderful sight that will be. Work for that dream of yours. Do one thing. Draw a picture of yours in uniform and put it in front of you in your room. Look at it every day and draw passion from there. You will get energy. And when you get that energy from within yourselves, that is the time when you will start working hard. And that is the time when you will achieve your ultimate goal of joining the National Defence Academy and passing out from there as proud officers of the Indian Defence Forces. I have promised you, I would come for your passing out parade of the National Defence Academy and also of the various academies where you go to after having your 3 years in the NDA. I promise you. But for that, gentlemen, pull up your socks and continue with your efforts of studying, of making your life disciplined, of ensuring that you not only practice discipline, but you make a discipline a part of your life, so much so that you continue it till the end of your life. I was in the NCC and I had disciplined my life right from the time I was in the NCC. Much before that, because my father was in the Indian Army, so we had a very disciplined life. But then I cannot expect the same from you. But yes, the moment you people have joined Prahar Defence Academy, you should make your life disciplined. I have been getting up at 4:30 every day in the morning from the time I was in my college days. And even today I do so. And I will be doing so till the end of my life. Because that has become a part of my life now. You see, you need to learn to love discipline. If you love discipline, your life will be very smooth. All your activities in the whole day should be disciplined and according to a proper plan. And then you see miracles will happen. Last but not the least, I'm very happy with the fact that you people are attending your classes. I don't know about your studies, I don't know about your performances, but yes, whatever I'm going through, I believe that you all are sincere, you all are responsible, and you should continue to do so. Have that spirit in you, dream big, dream to achieve the highest, and I assure you that success will be at your feet. Jai Hind, Jai Prahar.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful talk, full of inspiration and helping all of us realize the values and the morals we must imbibe in. I'm sure all Praharis must have got the inspiration and lessons you gave. Thank you once again, ma'am, for taking the time out of your busy schedule and addressing us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Jai Hind, Jai Prahar, ma'am.